Without your dragon, she may be persuaded to negotiate.
Let's check the math on that one. Suppose you take Melis off the table. Rhaenyra still has Cyrax, Daemon has Caraxes, Baela has Moondancer, Laenor left Sea Smoke behind, Jacaerys has Vermax, Lucerys has Arax, and
He's just stealing this from episode 10.
Joffrey has Taraxes? That's 7 dragons. Meanwhile,
Didn't mention the 3 unclaimed dragons, Vermithor, Silverwing. All right, and Melis is the last one. Yeah.
Alicent, each of your 3 children has one. Now, we typically
4 children.
let Cini handle the math, but
Although Daeron hasn't been mentioned at all in the show.
I'm pretty sure 7 is still bigger than 3. Let's take a moment.
Hang on, what? Sorry, I was too busy doing autism dragon numbers.
Send you a raven.
Without your dragon, she may be persuaded to negotiate.
I mean, when you consider that Arax, Vermax, Taraxes, Moondancer are all very young dragons, that's basically Caraxes, Cyrax, and Melis who have riders on Rhaenyra's side if Rhaenys joins. If Rhaenys doesn't join, it's just Caraxes and Cyrax as fully grown dragons that they can use in the war, whereas like Sunfire is older than any of Rhaenyra's other dragons. Dreamfire is much older, and Vhagar accounts for, like, if you combine all of the other dragons, Vhagar is basically equivalent. So I don't know, this point from Alicent kind of adds up. It kind of makes sense.
Let's check the math on that one. Suppose you take Melis off the table.
Okay, you know what? We're doing it. We're doing it. Okay. Greens, Vhagar, big. Actually, let's give them all a ranking out of 10. Vhagar is at 10, being the biggest, oldest, largest dragon alive. They have Dreamfire. Pending anything else, we might put Dreamfire at like a 7. She's like not the oldest dragon around, but she's been around a while. And Sunfire, maybe put him at a 5, and we'll put Vermax at like a 4 or 5 as well. There's also Tessarion, which this guy doesn't know about because she hasn't been mentioned at all. We don't really know how Tessarion's gonna stack up to the others. Let's put her at a 3 for now. Actually, given maybe 4. Blacks have Caraxes. We'll put Caraxes at an 8. Cyrax is... I think Cyrax was born like by Rhaenyra, so let's put Cyrax at a 6. Now, this should be logarithmic though, so understand that a 10 is like... the step between 8 and 9 is not as big as the step between 9 and 10, right? I'm not ranking them out of how much I love them. It's out of like how I'm just making shit. I'm padding for time. I'm just having fun adding up dragons. Vermax is going to be 4. Yeah, let's say 4, because he's going to be slightly younger than Sunfire. And Arax then would be 3. We might have to put Tessarion at a 3 as well. And then Tyraxes, like this is basically like nothing. Like 1 or 2, right? And then Moondancer, how old is Baela? Probably going to be a 4 or something, right? Actually, maybe even a 5. So those are the riders they currently have. Now you look at this, and honestly, it doesn't look that stacked in the Blacks' favor because of Vhagar. But then Melis is going to be an 8 or a 9 even. Silverwing. This is the sticking point, right? Melis really could tip the scales from Alicent's point of view, from Rhaenys' point of view. I'm just talking about their ages, really, because their ages correlate with their size, and typically that's going to be indicative of their usefulness, you know, how much they can accomplish in a war, right? I know what happens in the battles going forward. I'm just trying to evaluate this from how Alicent's looking at it in this moment. I think that she's being completely reasonable here. Sea Smoke was born to Laenor, wasn't he? Like, did he exist prior to Laenor? I don't think he did. We don't know exactly when he was born, but he's going to be around Cyrax's age. These are unclaimed dragons. Well, Sea Smoke's a bit more complicated. Vermithor is going to be a 9. Actually, if I've put Dreamfire, Dreamfire needs to be chunkier than Caraxes, right? Around the same age or older than Vermithor. Maybe Dreamfire should be in 9, but I wanted to leave more of a gap between Vagar and Dreamfire. Silverwing's gonna be an 8 as well, right? And then there's you know, Cannibal, which like no one's gonna tame Cannibal. Sheep Stealer. If Alicent thinks about it, she's probably going to think that no one's going to tame Cannibal, right? Sheep Stealer and Grey Ghost, which like I'm not even going to bother assigning them numbers. So basically, I think Alicent's completely right to be concerned about where Melis goes.
Rhaenyra still has Cyrax, Daemon has Caraxes, Baela has Joffrey has Taraxes. That's 7 dragons. Meanwhile, Alicent, each of your 3 children.
What I'm basically getting at here is that his assessment of 7 is a bigger number than 3 is hang on, who have I left out here?
Suppose you take Melis off the table. Rhaenyra still has
1,
Cyrax, Daemon has
2,
Caraxes, Baela has
3,
Moondancer, Laenor
4.
left Seasmoke behind.
Okay, but Seasmoke doesn't have a rider.
Jacaerys has Vermax, Lucerys has Arax, and Joffrey has Taraxes? That's 7 dragons. Meanwhile, Alicent, each of your 3 children.
Yeah, so this is what I'm taking issue with, is that he's saying that because, I mean, I'm going to say 6 dragons because Seasmoke doesn't count and he doesn't have a rider at the moment. And I'm pretty sure that he's currently untamable because Laenor is still alive. Unless he died off screen, which may have happened. Yeah, okay, so Alicent's point is that without Melis, Rhaenyra would look at this situation and think that we should negotiate. Whereas if Melis were to go over to Rhaenyra's side, she would not see the need to do that. I think Alicent is being completely reasonable here. Alicent is right to assume that Seasmoke can be claimed, but if he's going to include Seasmoke, then he should also include Vermithor, Silverwing, Sheepstealer, and Grey Ghost. Right? Vagar is a nuclear bomb. Like, Vagar is by far the greatest weapon on the planet. Yeah. No, Alicent's completely right to do this, and criticizing her for saying this to Rhaenys is completely just like, why would you take the time to add up all the dragons without considering their size relative to each other, and then criticize the show for writing this about Alicent? Basically, what I'm taking all this time to do is to say that this guy, well, whoever wrote this, like, it just didn't care. I enjoyed doing dragon math. Actually, I want to like be a bit more thorough with that. I think that was cool and fun. Let's be a bit more thorough with our dragon maths. So let's start with the greens. They have Vagar, Dreamfire. We'll be doing this in descending order of age, I think. And Tessarion. The blacks then have Caraxes. I'm not counting Melis at this point. Cyrax, then Rhaenyra's children, Vermax, Arax, Tyraxes. Moondancer needs to be in here somewhere. It's probably here. No, it's here. Because Baela's older than Jace. Is she? I can't remember. She's not. I trust. Need to factor in the unclaimed dragons. Well, just the others, I guess we should say. Melis, Seasmoke, Vermithor, Silverwing. Melis is going to be there. Actually, we'll leave Melis there on her own. And then the other 3, Cannibal, Grey Ghost. Wait, Sheepstealer is bigger than Grey Ghost, isn't? Or am I mistaken there? I can't. Never remember. No, I'm just tossing up between Sheepstealer and Grey Ghost. Taraxes is definitely the youngest of the ones listed here. Okay, Vagar is going to be 10 because she's our baseline. She's like the top dragon. And Tyraxes is going to be 1 because we've established Tyraxes is the youngest. Then we have to slot the rest in between those. All right, let's have some fun. So I think 2 is going to be Arax, right? Is there any one that fits in between Tyraxes and Arax? Daeron and Luke are basically the same age, although we don't really know anything about Daeron in the show. We won't be talking about Morning. It's unclear. They're going to be roughly the same age. In the books, in book canon, Luke was born in 115 and Daron in 114. We're not told exactly when their dragons hatch, though. I think Moondance is going to be next. And then Vermax and Sunfire. So Vermax is older than Moondancer. Sunfire is older than Vermax. If we're just going off the ages of their riders. I'm just going to put these. Let's just sort these. Yeah, Sunfire is bigger than Vermax, I would assume. Okay, so Vermithor is definitely older than Silverwing. Seasmoke is definitely the youngest of these four. When was... So Cyrax... Rhaenyra is 16. She's 14 in the first episode. Let's put Cyrax at a 6 for now, and basically Seasmoke at a 6 as well. When you look at them, though, Seasmoke in episode 3 seems roughly comparable to Cyrax in episode 2. Just find young little Laenor. Yeah. There's Rhaenyra, there's Laenor. Rhaenyra is definitely older. Is that going to put them at a point of difference, though? We'll leave them for now, but Cyrax might have to be... may have to be higher than Seasmoke, we'll just say. So Caraxes was ridden by Rhaenys' dad, Aemon. He was Caraxes' first rider, and Meleys was first ridden by Daemon and Viserys' mother, Alyssa. Aemon is older than Alyssa. In book canon, Caraxes and Meleys are quite close in age. I think it makes sense to put Caraxes and Meleys at basically the same rating. We might have to move it up from 7, though. Maybe Cyrax is 7 and these two are 8, which would put Vermithor and Silverwing at 9. But we still have to account for Dreamfire. Dreamfire is older than both Vermithor and Silverwing, so I think Dreamfire has to be 9. The second largest dragon. Well, if we're not counting Cannibal. Which I guess puts Vermithor and Silverwing at 8, because they're of basically the same age. Silverwing is slightly younger than Vermithor. I think this is kind of how it has to be. We could put Seasmoke at 5, but then Sunfire being 5 wouldn't really make sense. Do these all have to be 1 point apart? Taraxis does have to be 1 point lower than Arax, I think that's for sure. If we look at Arax and Vermax in episode 10... Can we see a large amount of difference between them? That's Meleys. They're too far away at this point to really see. There goes Arax. Actually, putting Vermax and Arax at the same rating? Yeah. Nah, Vermax is definitely bigger. Yeah. If you see how much of Vermax's neck extends past the seat, and how small Jace looks in comparison to Vermax. And then you look at how relatively big Luke looks in comparison to Arax. They have to be differently ranked. Vermithor... Yeah, I guess it's time to start actually considering how the dragons actually play out. Although the reason I started doing this was because of what the TVSins guy said about what Alicent said in that scene to Rhaenys. And she wouldn't really... be considering these 4 at this point, or these 3. TVSins guy said that the Blacks have 7 dragons because he included Seasmoke, even though nobody rides Seasmoke. Cannibal has to be a 9 or a 10, I think. 10 is the benchmark. We cannot... If we put Cannibal at 10, Vhagar has to be... There is no 11. Yeah, Dreamfire being 2 tiers above Caraxes is a problem. I'm just going by age here, though, at this point in time. Actually, Vhagar is so much older than Dreamfire. Dreamfire is so much closer in age to the 8 dragons that it's kind of perverse to put her... Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. Because Vhagar is so much older than Dreamfire. I'm putting Cannibal at 10. Oh, true. So we haven't seen Moondancer. This could solve the Seasmoke issue. If we put Vermax and Moondancer, this could be unclear, could be 2. And so Seasmoke is then a 5, which shows us the age difference between Seasmoke and Cyrax. And there's simply not enough information. But let's try anyway. I think Caraxes should be higher than Melis because of experience. But then if I increase Caraxes, then he's on the same level as Vermithor, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Vermithor could be at 9. That doesn't feel wrong. And then I just don't think we know about Sheepsealer and Grey Ghost. Let me take a closer look though. 10 scale doesn't work. I think it's been fine for what I'm trying to do here, which is nothing important. Let's be clear. If Sheepsealer was born when Joe was young, which it does say, who else was born when Joe was young? Well, Vermithor and Silverwing, right? So it makes sense for Sheepsealer to be an 8 or a 7. Although having been never tamed and therefore never used for combat, and literally it's just an animal that lives out in the wild and does its own thing, I think 7 might be more appropriate. And then Grey Ghost is just like literally who the fuck knows. Actually, no, we can get a bit more. I don't think the book even says if Grey Ghost is an adult dragon, but we kind of have to assume it. And if it's an adult dragon by the time the, dragon seeds attempt to get new dragons, yeah, I think it being around a 4 or 5 makes sense. Oh, we don't have any 4s anymore. That's right, I was going to... Well, I mean, there's our 4. 5, Sunfire and Seasmoke. And that was so that Cyrax was higher than Seasmoke. This is to do with the show, by the way. But like, if you look at this and think about how the dragon battles play out, Sunfire should be 4. I guess Sunfire is younger than Seasmoke. Like, considerably so. Yeah, and if Vermax is 3, I think that makes sense. We don't have any 9s. Dreamfire can't be 9, even though she is the second oldest of all dragons except for Cannibal. What are we calculating here? That's a great question. Yeah, it does make sense to have no 9s because Vhagar is just that much more immense than all of the others, and then Cannibal as well. No, I think Vermithor at 8 makes sense. Yeah, we're doing a dragon power scaling, basically. Oh, and you know what? This is going to throw a wrench in. Okay. So, if you look at Drogon in Season 8, he's smaller than Vermithor is in Season 1 of House of the Dragon, I think. Actually, let's compare. So much for a short stream. Okay. Oh my god, he's so cool. Yeah, no, this is way bigger than Drogon. And if we go to Season 8, Episode 6... Oh, yeah, no. Vermithor's bigger. But he's bigger than Vermax. He's bigger than... Well, we haven't seen... he's definitely bigger than Seasmoke. Probably bigger than Cyrax. Let's compare to Cyrax. Okay, there's Cyrax. Where's a human next to Cyrax? That looks kind of akin to how Daenerys looked atop Drogon. Yeah, Drogon's definitely bigger than Cyrax. We might be giving Drogon a 7. Yeah, Drogon grew ridiculously quickly. And then Viserion. If we want to compare Viserion, here's Viserion's last appearance. Fucking dog shit episode. Okay. This is smaller than Vermithor. This is smaller than Drogon. This is probably still bigger than Cyrax. Huh. Smaller than Drogon, bigger than Cyrax. Maybe they're all 7s. Well, hang on. Let's have a look at Rhaegal then. In this, the stupidest scene. Okay. They're the same size. They're the same size. They're all the same size. It's kind of boring, honestly. They are Dreamfire's kids. Probably. Let's have a look at Dreamfire, actually, because I'm a little I'm a bit confused. Well, we've never seen the Black Dread, so... Wait, hang on, what am I doing? It's episode 6. She honestly doesn't look that big. Definitely smaller than Vermithor. She looks fucking smaller than Cyrax. She looks like Drogon season 5 or 6 size. But she's the second oldest dragon, unless they've changed her story in the show. It is hard to tell how far away she is. Although her flame is going, like, past these pillars. So she can't be that far away. Okay, that's weird. Dreamfire is unexpectedly small. And then if we have a look at Season 6, Episode 9, the greatest episode of Game of Thrones, we can see when the dragons unceremoniously tunnel their way out for no reason. We are told that they like grow smaller when they're chained up, but do they really look stunted? No, skip this garbage. They look a bit smaller, I guess. Oh, like barely? Like compare Viserion here. This is Drogon, right? They all look like basically the same size. Yeah, he does look about the same size as Mealy's. How do dragons hover? With gyrocopters. If we see Tyraxes next season and he's any bigger than this, we riot. Okay. That'll do. Unclear. I made it the fuck up. Maybe Dreamfire should be a 7. Yeah, this is completely inconsistent. Oh god. I'm gonna call it that.